I look very snazzy right now. What do I have to say, guys? All right, guys. I know you were jamming out to Slick Speaks. Welcome all to Slick Speaks. And I just want to hold my hat in, like, I would say solidarity to the victims of these past shootings from Mr. Aubrey and to Mr. Floyd in Minneapolis that fatally got shot by, I mean, one was in uniform, one was not in uniform. I would say a white person. I don't want to, like, I don't want to, like, when I reach the sense of talking racial, I always feel like there's a tension in the room, even though I have, like, two white people behind my board. I always feel like there is a tension. There's a tension, especially with the fact of Minneapolis having riots right now. I would like to say, I have to bring this up because from counting today, there has been 1,000 shootings of African American and brown, I would say urban community, African American, my people have been getting shot. Getting shot or killed on I would say a daily basis. And I would like to address the fact of, like, not just only the cops, because these cops need to be reprimanded. And if you feel like officers nowadays shouldn't be taking tests to actually get be the proper officer that they're supposed to be, instead of being that person that they feel like they're above the law, I feel like you should clearly get checked. I know I should have added elements to it, but I feel like me being a black, I should have added someone to the top, to the conversation, but me being a black man and me riding around in the communities I do ride around in, and me going to Home Depot, I feel as though, like, I can be next. There is a fear when a cop car does get behind me, and I don't know what really can happen if I do get stopped in a traffic stop. Like, majority of my traffic stops, my heart is pounding. So there's no joke around the whole situation of this whole rioting that's happening to someone jogging in a community getting killed for absolutely no reason at all. I like, for majority of these fatal shootings, fatal killing, it's just all around fatal. But this, from the killings to the shootings to the officers not acting the way they should be, in a society like this, in a pandemic like this, we shouldn't be acting like, honestly, like animals, like we don't exist. Like, we're in your communities. We have been in your communities for how long? Like, I can't, like, me having a nephew and trying to explain to him being 2, like, not all people are for you. And I understand that the police is the first person that we call when something does happen, but I wouldn't know what would happen to you if the police would come on either a bad situation, not a bad situation, but like a bad motive, and something bad might happen to you. Like, seeing myself in, like, situations where I'm honestly, on a day-to-day basis, I'm surrounded by everybody, white, black, and indifferent. So I feel like if I can bring in a lot of people from white, black, Spanish, my whole local community of South Florida to come together. We should come together. There's no need. There's no need for these riots, but I feel like these riots are necessary to actually get our point across. Because if you're witnessing a murder, and I can what is it? I can brush down on like I can brush down on like what are the police doing and what the police are not doing and what the police should do to get this thing situated, but it all comes down to us. Like I feel as though like we as a community, if you would see me, I would hope if you would see me getting pulled over, getting pulled out of my car, and getting either my head bashed in or like being properly being handled improperly by the law enforcement. I feel like instead of pulling out your phone as these videographers do for retweets and likes and all that, all that hoopla that comes around social media because you just want to tell the news, because for some odd reason we all became news reporters and we all became models because of social media. I feel like we need to put our phones down at this time to say, yeah, we need this strike of change. Just like when Obama was campaigning, it's time for a change, guys. Like, we can say that we want to change, but these numbers from people getting shot, people getting killed unjustly, and people not getting the correct reprimand of the actions that they did is not the correct way of going about it. And me being a black man, I am honestly scared for my life, I have to say. I I there's no there's no right way to think about it, but I feel like people are not people around town, but people on social media and what I've been speaking upon have been saying, history is repeating itself with the riots, but I feel like history can't say history repeat itself or history relapse. I feel like we kind of got numb to the situation, because before like all this tech and people recording, I seen with my own two eyes, not saying I wanted to document it, but in actuality with my own two eyes, the injustice from communities that wanted to separate themselves from the urban communities, to the police officers that were enforcing their urban communities, to actually getting falsely injusted because I fit the description of who are they looking for in the community. I feel like this needs to stop. Okay? And I understand that I can say that. I can say that this needs to stop, but it all goes back to us. And being that we should be the frontline defense for our community, we shouldn't be on our phones seeing somebody being either choked out, either can't breathe, or being wrongly just wrongly situated, either by law enforcement or by somebody that white, black, or indifferent. I would say, like, if I would see somebody getting knee to a face or knee to a neck, I would have to say, like, what are you doing to that man? What's going on here? Like, I would try to reprimand the situation or try to fix the situation, instead of saying I'm gonna pull out my phone to see how many likes. Or I'm pretty sure the person that recorded didn't want to see or didn't want to get likes. They probably were trying to see, or it was probably their way of saying that they were doing something right for the community. But I feel like the only way to do something right for the community is if you act upon it. You have to act upon helping your fellow neighbor, even though that I feel like you don't live in the same cul-de-sac or you don't live in the same community. I feel like if we do shop at the same shopping plaza, if we do cross each other on the sidewalk, or if we clearly cross each other on the sidewalk, cross each other on the plaza, right now nothing's open. I would say go into a mall, cross each other in a mall. Those people are your neighbors. Those people are the people that make up the genetic makeup of your community. Why would you turn a blind eye or actually turn on your camera phone? Camera phone. I sound like an old guy. I sound like Freddie. But turn on your camera phone. Turn on your camera phone. I do sound like a, but turn on your camera phone and actually point it at the action, or point it at the situation and not do anything about it. We need to address these camera operators, or these, newly camera operators from social media that want to put everything on either Twitter, Facebook, whatever, Stitcher. I don't know if they would put stuff back on YouTube, but I don't know, but on their Instagram page, any feed that they have on Instagram, from TikTok to Snapchat, I feel like if you do see injustice, you need to call upon it. There is a call for action. And if we don't reach that call for action, guys, and what is it? These numbers, this 1,004 that I just said that have been either shot or killed by police. 1,004 that have been shot or killed by police that were urban. What is it? That were urban. That were part of the urban community, from Michael John to Jonathan to Chase Andrew Austin. There's been a lot of people wrongly injustice and killed, like their life's been cut short because of someone else. So if you do, I would say my South Florida community, we do band together. But I feel like if we do see anything wrong, unjust, we need to act upon it. And from what I've seen from the XXX Tentacion, when he went to go buy when he went to go buy basically a motorcycle, but in actuality he didn't buy the motorcycle. I don't know what happened with Via Motorsports and him buying the motorcycle. He didn't buy the motorcycle that day, but he did get fatally shot that day, leaving the spot where he wanted to buy the motorcycle. But instead of actually people helping him, because the hospital, North Broward Hospital, is literally around the corner. I know there's a lot of stories that run by North Broward Hospital, but like North Broward Hospital is literally around the corner. Instead of actually trying to figure out a way to get him to the hospital, because he has been shot, he has been wounded. I felt like nobody did anything. It was like I would say 20 to 30 people from the video that I watched when it came out, like 20 to 30 people just sitting there filming him dying. Are we at that phase right now, guys, that we have turned into the news broadcasters soundbite, or the news broadcasters video bite that they'll put into their 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or 10 o'clock news, so you can talk about it, saying that, hey, I was there and I seen it all and I didn't do anything? Are we at that phase that we're not doing anything for the community, but we're expecting stuff to happen to the community? Basically, like not doing, but sidebar, basically like not doing a census, but expecting more out of your community. But getting back on topic, like you have to, we honestly get what we give. And the fact that we have been, the fact that we have been only giving videos and giving just sound bites and saying that, yeah, we were there, and the cop was just wrongly and was in the wrong way, but I'm so sorry for his death, condolences. There's been too many funerals and too many people dying off this whole situation with cops and the urban community that I grew up in and I was raised in, that I usually go back to, that I not at the moment because the pandemic, but the urban community that did raise me, because Broward County is full of like Black, Spanish, everything. It's like a cul-de-sac of like, it's honestly like Skittles. So I feel as though like being that we are family, guys, we need to honestly look out for each other. And looking out for each other is not taking a video of the situation and documenting it and then retweeting it and then retweeting it and then seeing that you have, oh my gosh, you're trending now because of this video that you put out because you wanted to do the right thing and show the injustice of police. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was in the day and age when we had the Nokia brick phone, and the Nokia brick phone barely had it didn't have a good camera at all. So at the time, when we did see injustice, we had to document it only with our eyes. Not saying that everybody was going around looking for stuff that was happening from situations with cops, but it happened in broad daylight. Like, cops would not fatally, but pull people out cars because I have to give you guys a story. I was leaving my house to play basketball, and my boys came to pick me up. And what is it? I'll try to see if I can. I'll try to see if I can get my I'll try to see if I can get my boy Steven, because I'll try to see if I can get my boy Steven on Tuesday for you guys to talk about this whole basketball situation, this basketball story, because I feel like he can go into detail on how he felt as well, because we all got pulled out the car and our car got searched because they were looking for paraphernalia that was not even there, but they only found basketballs. That's about it. They only found basketballs and 4 kids in a car that were going to play basketball. But they literally have 4 squad cars around us because we fit the description that they were looking for. But they didn't want to tell us the description. What was the description? What was the description that they were looking for? And another story, I was pulled over in a pocket rocket. Everybody knew the pocket rockets. The pocket rockets were the small little motorcycles. I was pulled over in a pocket rocket, given a ticket. In my community, a lot of people had these pocket rockets. When pocket rockets were hot, everybody knew that's the whole summer when everybody needed a pocket rocket, and everybody had those razor small. Everybody looked weird on them things, but I wish I had mine. So mine was all electric. But I feel as though like, the cops see me on it, pull me over, wanted me to walk it home, and he gave me a ticket for being on it way back there, but he wanted me to walk it home, and he wanted to make sure that I live in the community as well. It was very like a touchy situation, and just it didn't make any sense to me because he was parked outside my house for at least a half an hour to figure out who lives at this house, why is he over here at this house, and why is he driving this motor scooter everywhere, because apparently you're supposed to only drive it in private property. But since I was at that phase where monkey see monkey do, a lot of people were driving it on the road, on public roads, so I was driving it on public roads. And I didn't have a car at the time, so that was the best way of transportation, to be honest with you. But being like an advocate of our community and the black community, this riot, even though a lot of people say this, not a lot of people say, but I would say some people might come out and say, "Oh, it wasn't necessary to riot. Riot causes looting. Riot causes too much, or like there's just way too much." But like, I feel like if you push a community to the edge, you will reach a resistance. And at this point in time, if we don't change what we're doing, we will always end up with a riot. There will always be a resistance, and the resistance are those people that they're tear gassing right now in Minneapolis. And what is it? The resistance, and I would have to say the resistance barely even wants to touch upon like what's going on, or like how would you even feel, because I feel like at this point in time there is a lot of like, you have to pick your side. right now. Not saying what is it? Not saying that I haven't picked my side, and you probably might guess my you probably might guess my side, but I would say like guys, we have to change up how we would react, not react, but how we reprimand situations like this. Like this officer already had a bad track record, so being that, if I was the person behind the camera, I never knew this officer at all. But if I was the person behind the camera, I will actually not even try to see if I can look for my phone. I'll be like, why would you be on his neck? Why are you on his neck, sir? And if officer wants to give me like either not, I was gonna say a Jared remark, like a jagged remark or something like that. Some type of petty remark for me to say, yeah, you know what, this needs to stop. I feel like if one person stepped in, a lot of people would, but nobody actually did step in. I felt like everybody pulled out their phones and said they were being advocates because they want to show how bad this cop is. But really, though, how bad is this cop? We see the track record, but they fired him. What happened? What is it? What happened? What's happening with the other cops that would do such a situation like that? They go on paid leave. They don't lose their job. They go on paid leave with pay, or they go on paid leave, just a leave until everybody forgets about it. Not saying that anybody would forget about it, because these shootings that happened with this cop and with what happened in Atlanta with the guy running, like nobody's forgetting about how our people are getting honestly slaughtered on a day-to-day basis. And me being black myself, I don't know when my time is gonna be, and hopefully it's not gonna be with an officer that probably had a bad day, and I feel like if you're an officer, and I have to point that out, like, because I have to say, like, if you are having a bad day, it's your job to patrol the community. I'm not pointing out majority of officers are good to a certain extent, okay? Because I met a few. I had to meet a few to actually say that they are good. But I would say from the ones that they're showing to the guy in Minneapolis, to what is it? I seen a cop shoot a perp 3 times and handcuff him dead. The guy was clearly DOA on the spot, and he handcuffed him after he shot him 3 times. The only way I know that is because there was a videographer instead of somebody actually doing something. I feel like we want to document more of these cop shootings. We shouldn't even be wanting to document these cop injustice, or like these injustice in period. We should actually be acting upon it. And acting upon it is not pulling out your phone, updating Twitter, being like our president, being mad at Twitter, or like actually having a separate Twitter, or actually creating a troll account. This goes on the hype of like our community, because I make up the population of our community as a whole. The United States, around the world, we're not all the same color, guys. We make up especially South Florida, being that is Haitian, Spanish, white, Swedish. There's a lot. Brazilian, mostly South America, I would say, Caribbean. We're a nice little mosh pit down here in South Florida. But I would say, like, if you do see something wrong and just in the community, you have to act upon it, because I know I will act upon it. Because I don't know if he's a brother. I don't know if he's my brother or my cousin. But if you're officer and you do want to act the same way Mr. Minneapolis want to act, you will face repercussions. Not saying that I'm going out and looking for it, but if the situation does come up, I am going to act upon it. And it's getting to a point where you're gonna have to reach the resistance, and you're looking at the resistance right here. No smiling mood about it, but guys, history never on. I would say I would have to like clear it up. History has never repeated itself. I understand that there's another riot right now, the Minneapolis riot, but history is never repeating itself. Honestly, history it there's no repetition. It was always there. It's just like I feel like our eyes are now more swayed to it because of the videos that are coming out and that are being retweeted and are being liked. We should now just all stop the videos and just act upon it. Okay? Seeing one of my brothers here like Vinny or Callaway, if I would see them being wrongly unjust, I would have to do something about it. Okay? I feel like if I would pull out my phone and I say, yo, Callaway, I caught the whole shot of like you getting beat up by the cop or being up by the security, I feel like he would take it the wrong way, because he's like, you were literally 10 feet away and you couldn't do anything about it, but you got a nice video upon it and you want to retweet it, you want to post it for content. We're not doing content shot, guys. We need, as a community, to come as a whole. We shouldn't even blame it on the law enforcement, because we've been enabling them. We've been giving them paid. I don't even understand, how do you have blood on your hands but you have paid leave? Some people get fired for less. Okay? They lose their jobs for less. Some people will lose their jobs for like a stick of gum, but they have blood on their hands, have paid leave with pay. And that's all I have to say. Here on Slick Speaks, I will have to say we have to bring this to the forefront of the community. We have to act. Stop recording. Put your phone down. And history was never repeating itself. It was always here, guys. And this Slick, just letting you know we're getting over this hump, and this riot, it's going to be a big hump. And being that we are in this pandemic, I don't know what's going on with like the whole COVID. I don't know if they're going to test for COVID, but this is a situation of resistance. And the police up there are meeting the resistance, and the police down here will be meeting the resistance if they will cross paths with Slick. But I'm just letting you know to stay cautious, stay positive. We are going to get through this. And until next time, guys, peace and love.